published 0940 Eastern Standard Time, 16 November 2017. Updated 10:26 Eastern Standard Time, 16 November 2017. Corinthians celebrated winning the Brazilian title in style as former Manchester City striker Joe starred with a brace against Fluminense to clinch his 7th title, sparking wild celebrations. There were riotous scenes in the stands and among the players of the Sao Paulo club, with some including former Celtic forward Colin KazimRichards carrying pints of lager onto the pitch at full-time. The jubilant team soaked each other with booze and threw their ecstatic coach Fabio Carille up in the air, whilst flares were set off around Corinthians Arena. Colin Kazim Richards' back right was an unused substitute, but the former Celtic man joined in the fun at full-time. Joe was the star of the show as the former Manchester City striker netted a brace for his side in their 3-1 victory. The players threw their manager Fabio Carille up in the air as the beer sprayed around them after the final whistle. The 3-1 win over Fluminense gave them an unassailable lead at the top of the table with 3 games remaining as the all-conquering hosts cruised to silverware with room to spare. Enrique gave Fluminense the lead with just a minute gone, but 2 goals in the first 3 minutes of the second half by Joe and a late strike from Jadson guaranteed Corinthians the title. Former Manchester City forward Joe was the star of the show and has reinvigorated his career in his homeland after his 3-year stint at the English club between 20,082,011. Home fans let off flares and partied long into the night after seeing their club claim a 7th league title in Sao Paulo. Fluminense took the lead, but 3 goals in the second half meant Corinthians were crowned champions of Brazil. The players not involved stormed onto the pitch to join up with the celebrations once the 90 minutes had passed. Spells in Dubai and the Chinese Super League followed, but having joined Corinthians this year, the 30-year-old is finding the form of his life, scoring 18 goals in all competitions this season. He wasn't the only familiar name in the matchday squad either. Colin Kazim Richards was an unused sub, but that didn't stop the Celtic forward joining in the celebrations. The Leytonstone-born former Turkey international claimed the 3rd league title of his career, having triumphed at Celtic and Olympiacos. The 31-year-old sloshed his pint of lager onto the turf as he leapt up and down with his teammates. The Corinthians players El Arana, Clayson, Felipe Bastos and Camacho celebrated their victory with pints of lager. The mood in Corinthians Stadium was one of unbridled jubilation as plenty of supporters set off flares. Joe Wright took in the acclaim of his teammates as he put on a black shirt to commemorate the victory. The win for Corinthians means the Sao Paulo side have 71 points, 10 ahead of second-placed Grêmio. Corinthians last won the title in 2015, and after taking the lead 5 weeks into the season, they rarely looked like losing the top spot even after a stuttering run of form in September and October. They have not shown up front, with 5 of the league's 20 teams scoring as many goals as the champions, but boast the best defensive record in the league. Fans young and old relished watching their team become the most successful club in the Brazilian top flight. Corinthians claimed the league title with 3 games to spare, moving into an unassailable lead over Grêmio. No doubt there will be some sore heads in Sao Paulo after a night of partying in Brazil's largest city. We never doubted ourselves when the pressure was on, Rodriguinho said post-game. We worked very hard for this to happen. The win was a particular triumph for first-time coach Carille. A former journeyman defender, Carille was appointed to lead Corinthians in December after several spells as assistant manager. No doubt there will be a few sore heads in Brazil's largest city once the party comes to an end.